Well, good morning. Welcome to the Alpine Church of Spiritual Living. I'm going to be reading our thought for the week, and then those of you who are in the room can join me as we get down to the bottom in the bolded area. As we celebrate a prosperous new year, I've chosen Roy Eugene Davis's book entitled The Spiritual Basis of Real Prosperity as our reference. This week, we will look at the 8 success principles and how to put them to work for us. In a brief overview, they are, number 1, inspiration, the divine influence that empowers. Number 2, aspiration, inspired desire to accomplish purposes. Number 3, vision, a clear perception of possibilities. Number 4, education, acquired knowledge to live effectively. 5, participation, personal involvement that allows us to be successful. Number 6, conviction that produces results. Number 7, persistence, unwavering dedication to the ideal. And number 8, grace, welcome unplanned good fortune. First and foremost, we must be steeped in the understanding and acceptance that we are spiritual beings, and from this vantage, we are able to rise above and beyond our past and into great, infinite, and unlimited ways of being and experiences. Once we accept this beyond a shadow of a doubt, we can then take specific and concrete steps to bring about a life of prosperity and success. But it doesn't happen by happenstance. It happens due to the level of our conscious participation in our unfoldment. It happens based on our emotional maturity. Davis says, we are emotionally mature when we cheerfully assume responsibility for our states of awareness, mental states, personal behaviors, and the results of our actions. The emotionally mature person does not blame others or external conditions for the incidents of misfortune they might experience, unquote. Your life has to be lived. Why not live your life to its highest possibilities? This is a brand new year, and it can be a brand new you. Allow yourself to be open to having the desires of your heart come to fruition by your active participation in them. Say with me, I am open and willing to take the necessary steps within and without to achieve the desires of my heart. What a great year 2022 will be! Exclamation mark. All right. Well, here we are. We're diving into Roy Eugene Davis's work even deeper and looking at specific things as to what it looks like to be successful, to have a prosperous life. So I'm going to go through these 8 prosperity success principles with us today. And you have them in your thought for the week, so you might want to grab that one and take it home with you for reference and review. But the first one is inspiration, and that's what the divine influence empowers us. I think we all know, as we talk about this every week, that we are divine beings, we are spiritual beings. That's what we are. We are this spirit that emanates, that feeds us, that really is the core of what we are. And many times that spirit talks to us, communicates to us. How? In a very soft, gentle way, with that what we call that still small voice within. And many times we call it intuition, we call it inspiration. And in hindsight, many times we realize that it was trying to lead us and guide us, and we what? We ignored it. We didn't go with it. So I want us to think about today how it looks and how it feels to be empowered by trusting when we have that inspiration come to us that we actually follow it. Davis writes, quote, when our goals and purposes are clearly defined, inspiration energizes and motivates us to accomplish them. You see, in all these 8 steps, not one of them says that you need to have goals. You need to have a purpose clearly defined. But it is interwoven through all of these steps. So number 1, we need to know what it is we want. We need to go within and ask ourselves, what is the goal? What is the purpose? What is it that I want to achieve? And I was looking at one of my friends' postings on Facebook, and I've known this lady for years through the Anton affiliated New Thought Network conferences that I've gone to, and her name is Sunny Boheme. And years ago, she wrote a personal account, a story of what happened to her in her life, and it was entitled Mirror, Mirror. A very interesting actual thing that happened where she married a man, and it's kind of a long story, but she ended up getting kind of kidnapped, basically, and held in Iran, I think it was. And these are all true events that happened. Well, Sunny is a religious science practitioner, and she does lots of classes, and she does lots of counseling, and every year she does a vision board. And she posted on this Facebook thing, have you done your vision board yet this year? Highly recommend that you do them. She has been doing them all these years, and one of them had Reese Witherspoon sitting in a director's chair directing the movie based on her life, on this Mirror, Mirror book that she wrote. And it's coming to fruition. It's called Unboxed, and it's being produced right now as a movie. So it's just an example of how when we are focused on our goal and we look and we make our vision board and we do these things that we've always talked about in New Thought and in Science of Mind and religious science, is bringing these visualizations to fruition. And that's what we're talking about today in these steps that we're going through, is how can we work with Spirit within us to bring about what we want, what it wants, through us in our experiences. So he says we can nurture inspiration by these things. Maintaining an optimistic mental attitude. Prayer and meditation. Daily reading scripture or other conscious illuminating information. Association with others who are inspired and purposeful. Constant practice of the presence of God. Wow, I put an exclamation mark on that one. And good health habits. These are some of the things that will lead us, that will support us in being able to achieve our goals and being able to have that nurture of inspiration that comes to us. We have to do that footwork first. We have to do the underlying foundation so that when we hear that inspiration, we can run with it. At the end of each one of these principles, he offers an affirmation, and I want to share the one here that he chose. A free-flowing current of inspiration energizes and illumines me, purifies my intellect, unveils my intuition, enlivens my body, and empowers my wisdom chosen, skillful, preformed actions. Affirmations are one of those techniques that we use in this science of mind and religious science to help us stay on course. So we can always use our affirmations. The second principle is aspiration, inspired desire to accomplish purposes. So here again, we need to know what our goals are, what our purposes is in life. He said there are 4 primary purposes of life. Number 1, learn what your role in life is and play it well. Ask, why am I in this world? What is my life for? And you know it's going to change. You can't just check that off and be done with it, because we are evolving souls. So what is my life purpose now? Number 2, learn to have your life-enhancing desires easily fulfilled. You are not in this world to struggle. Enjoy learning and growing experiences. We are here to change. We are here to grow. We are here to learn. Number 3, be affluent where you are in continuous flow of supportive events and relationships. In other words, expect to have supportive events and relationships come to you. And the last one is be spiritually awake. Remind yourself as often as possible that you are a spiritual being. It is your destiny to be healthy, happy, and unrestricted. That's the true core of what we are, is this spirit wanting to play, wanting to come out and have this joyous life experience. The affirmation at the end of that one was, I am always fully awake to the truth of my being and my relationship to the infinite. Keep that relation to the infinite always foremost in your experience, in your day-to-day living. Principle number 3, vision, a clear perception of possibilities. In other words, be open to something new. Like Sunny, she wrote the book and she could just end it there, but no, she wanted to go further with more possibilities. I've written my book, remember a couple of years ago when I wrote my Lazy Shoelace book? And then things happened. I retired from my day job and I ended up getting another day job watching a 2-year-old, now a 3-year-old. But I still have a vision for that book as to where it can go and what it can do in this life experience. So I ask you to be open to newness, to be open to what you can achieve, to the next level of achievement that you can have in this life. Principle number 4, education, acquiring knowledge to live effectively. Now, I don't think he's talking here primarily about book knowledge, although that's great. I mean, we've got 2 book studies going, and I love to read books. But I think what we're talking about here is spiritual education, being more aware of the spirit that I am, that is driving my life, that is providing my life, that is giving me the nourishment of what I am. In that section is where he reminds us, and what I wrote in the Thought for the Week, of being emotionally mature. Emotional maturity is something that will give us a substantial foothold on how to achieve our goals. We don't look outside of ourselves. We don't think that, okay, this happened to me and so I'm a victim. We stay out of that kind of thought because we know as what we are internally within is what's going to show up without. And so we keep our highest and best awareness of what am I truly. Just like we heard the Yaya sisters, I am love in action. That's what I am. Principle number 5, participation, personal involvement that allows us to be successful. Let yourself grow, be curious. The affirmation on this one is, I willingly participate in life's unfolding processes, live with firm resolve, attend to necessary duties, act effectively, and meditate regularly. Anchored in the infinite, I am peaceful, productive, and successful. How many times is he talking about meditating, going within, listening, reading the spiritual work that feeds us, that gives us additional information? Doing that spiritual work every day as the first number 1 priority in life grounds us. I was reading The Science of Mind this morning, and the reading was about a gal they were hiking, 2 of them were hiking, and the one behind lost her footing and fell and into the one that was in front. Well, the one that was in front was writing the message, and she was saying, thank goodness I was grounded and I was solid in my footing, and she didn't take me out. I was able to hold my ground. And that's what we're talking about every morning when we do our prayer work, we do our readings, our spiritual readings, we do our meditation. That's how we get grounded. That's how we are able to respond to the changes that are coming up in our lives, daily, hourly. Principle number 6, faith, conviction that produces results. A cosmic mind is responsive to our thoughts and intentions. Well, to me, this is one of the most important ones, is to have faith. We all have faith, but what do we have faith in? We have faith in fear, or do we have faith in love? Do we have faith that this divine energy that is everything is for us? That it wants us to succeed? Have faith in that. Have faith in the knowledge that, yes, there are things that are going to come up in life that I might not be prepared for. But I'm not going to fall into confusion. I'm not going to fall into being stymied by them, because I know there is a power within me that is greater than all of these potential obstacles and challenges that come to me. There is always a divine guide waiting, willing, eager to lead us to our highest and best good. Principle number 7, persistence, unwavering dedication to the ideal. When you know you're on the right course, don't give up. This is one for me that I have to work with because I see it, where I see it is when I'm driving. And I have had this lesson brought to me a few times where I'm going someplace for the first time. I have the directions. I know, I try to be prepared. And I'm driving down and I'm thinking, I'm gone too far. I missed the turn. This isn't right. It's too, I've gone too far. And I turn around. And then I realize, no, that's not, I didn't miss anything. So I have to turn around again and I keep going. And I tell I've done this, and you'd think that I'd learn. This Friday, Med and I took Adeline to the Children's Nature Reserve here in Alpine. And we hadn't been there before. We had an address. We knew about where it was. And I'm driving, and I'm going, and I'm verbalizing, saying, "Oh, I think we missed. We better look at the map. We better make sure. Where are we going? Because I don't know. I'm questioning, thinking that we need to pull over and double check where we're at and where we need to be. And just within the next 20 seconds, here comes the big sign. There it is. We hadn't quite gone far enough. That is what persistence says to me, is that we need to keep going on the route, on the road. That's where we want to be. Keep the persistence going. The affirmation in that one is, I know what is important and I adhere to it with unwavering faith and alert, skillful actions. With cheerful resolve and absolute trust in God, I persist until I achieve my goals and accomplish my purposes. It's keep going, keep moving, keep one foot in front of the other. Success principle number 8, grace. Welcome unexpected good fortune. We are to be thankful that we have this beautiful energy, this divine substance that is what we are, always there to give us, to lead us into where new paths, but with trust, with knowledge that there is something greater within me that I can trust. Joel Goldsmith calls it, God's grace is my sufficiency. God's grace is all I need. Each of us are moving through life at our own pace and our own speed. We are all a unique expression of this one power and this one presence. We all have our own goals, our own desires, and when we cooperate with Spirit, when we cooperate and expect that life will give us exactly what we have need of, and we trust it with grace, amazing things happen in our lives that we could never have thought of otherwise. Life does work for us when we work with it, to have that expectancy. I have a treat for you today. I thought this would fit in today's message. I was given these a while ago. Peter, who isn't able to be here today, gave these to me. These were written by a minister that church that he used to go to, I think up in Northern California or somewhere. Reverend Jim Terrell, OC Spiritual Center. It's called The Great Unfolding Prayer. And it's our 5-step method of prayer that we have in religious science. And it's in a little, cute little form that's all folded up, see? You each get one today at least, if you can have more if you want. And I'm going to read this one. It says, step number 1, love God. This particular treatment is for Great Unfolding Prayer is for health and relationships. That was the purpose of writing this particular treatment. So the first step is love God. Recognize. The miracle of life is the oneness of all existence. God's Genesis creates all life and emanates all movement. The divine universal, which is both capitalized, forever makes manifest its word. Life is a reflection of God's word. So it's just all. Okay, then we open it up to step number 2, unify with God. Unify. Connected and created by God's word, my life is animated by a divine power that knows how to create my every belief. I am empowered by oneness. And we open it up again. Speak your word. Declare. In this moment, I am the perfect and forever expressing idea of health and perfect relationships. God knows who I am and how to animate my beliefs. I believe in my whole, perfect, and complete life. I believe in the sacred nature of my relationships. Every word out of my mouth instructs my cells and bodies to move with love. Every thought I think creates and attracts my perfect relationships. There is no limitation to my love or to my willingness to receive. God forever moves by means of me. Step number 4, we're getting to be bigger. Give thanks to God for all your blessings. Affirm, blessed and bountiful, I give great thanks for all my relationships and perfect health. I am grateful for God's creation, and I am grateful for my life. Filled with gratitude, I use my peace of mind and good health to serve all whom I encounter. Rested and thankful, I am the blessing God created me to be. And the 5th step, it's the last unfoldment, is release. Surrender, advance, and grow. Release. I release my word and let God make manifest all that I have spoken. Into the law it goes and returns by means of God's creation. Sacred and spiritual, my life is now the outcome I seek, and so it is. And then it literally gets to be folded back down, and you can use it again. So I have one of those for each of you today. So these are tools, these are reminders, these are ways that we can focus the direction of our life through the inspiration, through the guidance of Spirit within us that is infinite, that is boundless. So this is, to me, 2022 is going to be a fabulous year when we make that proclamation, when we make that expectation, when we have the faith to know that this divine guidance is within me always, and I have to attune to it. I have to be aware of it consciously and invite it in. It's not going to bowl me over, but it is always there in full force, waiting for us to recognize it. So have faith in yourself, capital S, in your true self. Be persistent in knowing. Don't turn back too soon. Keep going. Have that goal in mind and recognize that there is something beyond what you now know that will be your inspiration, that will be your guidance. There are infinite, unlimited powers available to you. Utilize them. Have a happy, successful, and prosperous life in this 2022. Namaste.